Alright guys, so in today's video I'm going to share with you exactly how to print money with dividend investing, how to build a successful dividend portfolio, so much so that it literally almost feels illegal. You're getting paid so much cash so consistently. It doesn't happen overnight, but it definitely can happen. Now, especially if you're just getting started with dividend investing, stick around until the end of the video because I'm going to be sharing some of the most important aspects about building a dividend portfolio, things that I wish I would have known when I first started. Now, before any of that, here are some things that you should not do. Do not do this by any means. Number one, do not buy a single stock or ETF before you understand what you're doing. We all work way too hard for our money to be spending it aimlessly and investing in things that we don't understand. So even though anyone technically more or less can open a portfolio and start buying things, wait before you start buying things. Understand what you're doing first. Also, don't chase high yield. You're almost always going to get burnt. Chasing and buying high yielding stocks and ETFs when it comes to dividend investing is one of the main things a lot of newer investors do in the early days. But trust me on this one, guys. It's almost always going to burn you in the end. Now, there's lots more things that you should not do before you understand some of the basics. Like, do not single stock pick until you understand the fundamentals, which we're going to talk about later on. Now, I know many people might not talk about this when it comes to dividend investing or investing in general, but the truth is, the way to make money dividend investing is to understand that there is a correct way to invest. Now, like I said, technically speaking, anyone of age can more or less open a brokerage account on Robinhood or any of the free brokerage accounts and start buying dividend paying stocks and ETFs. But trust me, you are going to want to wait until you understand the correct way to do so. Now, you might be asking me, well, what is the correct way to invest? What does it even mean, and who the heck am I to tell you? Which, speaking of who am I, I'm Benji, I'm 32 years old, I'm a self-made multimillionaire, and some of you guys probably have already seen my videos in the past, so if you have, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. But I am a self-made multimillionaire that's now been investing in dividend-paying stocks and ETFs for 9 years straight. I've been dumping as much money as possible, more or less, into the stock market over the past almost decade or so, and as of right now, I currently have a $1.5 million more or less dividend portfolio. Let's take a look at it. So this right here is my dividend tracker, which basically holds on to all the different stocks and or ETFs across multiple different brokerage accounts that I opened over the past decade or so. Now, like I said, I currently have around $1.5 million invested. That altogether on an estimated basis pays me around $96,000 per year in dividends, or around $8,000 per month at 32 years old. Now, my portfolio has around 58 different holdings and has around 28,000 different shares of different stocks and ETFs across the market. This portfolio was not built overnight, and it has been a work in progress, but this portfolio now at this point can completely sustain my entire lifestyle at just 32 years old. Now, this portfolio was not built this successfully by me just taking shots in the dark by investing in this or that. There is a real solid strategy here that we're going to talk about here in a second. So remember a minute or so ago when I said there is for sure a correct way to dividend invest and there's lots of things not to do. Well, the correct way to dividend invest is much more complicated than this, but just to give you an idea, long-term strategy building and figuring out what your objectives are, plus your risk tolerance, etc., building out an objective and strategy is going to be crucial if you want to stick with this long-term and if you want to really build a portfolio that's going to meet your goals. Also, learning how to screen for good buys in the market, whether this is stocks or ETFs. A lot of newer investors have absolutely no idea whatsoever how to stock pick, how to ETF pick. Just because you can physically go on the Robinhood brokerage and buy an ETF or a single stock does not mean that that's the right thing to do necessarily. To be able to do so in the correct manner is going to take research, understanding framework, understanding what to look for, what to screen for. Again, this is all much more complicated if you want to do this correctly at the high level. Also very important, monitoring your holdings. Like you guys saw a second ago, my custom dividend tracker that I have more or less all my positions from my multiple brokerages inside of. I monitor my holdings on a daily basis. I see what I'm getting paid, how much my dividend income is going up or down as I buy more and more shares and more stocks and ETFs, see what that's going to do as far as impacting my portfolio. Now, this is not only important, but also motivating to actually see the amount of dividend income that your portfolio is generating on a yearly or monthly basis. Gives you an idea of what your hard work has done so far and what your portfolio could potentially turn into in the future. Now, also doing things like optimizing active income for passive income. Again, there's a lot more to this, but this is just a few things of how to dividend invest the correct way. But there's lots of things that dividend investors, especially new ones, get wrong. Again, I was in this same camp a long time ago. That's why I'm so happy you guys came across this video so you can hopefully learn from my mistakes. Things like higher yield always means better returns. A lot of newer investors always ask me, why in the world would I invest in this over that? Because this ETF or this stock offers a much higher yield. Things like dividends are guaranteed, which they are 100% not. Dividend stocks are only for income, reinvesting dividends is the same as investing new money, and dividend paying companies are always financially stable. Now, if you're still watching this video at this point, go ahead and like it down below. I'm going to give you guys my personal list of the most important things to know and to do when to start dividend investing. Now, again, these are just a few things out of many, many more, but start with the plan, objectives, strategies, risk tolerance, like we talked about earlier. That is going to save you, especially during times when the market gets crazy. Sticking to a plan is going to be key. Also, buying high quality first. Now, again, this is sort of general, but buying high quality stocks and ETFs, building a strong foundation for your portfolio is also going to be very, very crucial. Start with ETFs, don't single stock pick at the beginning. Reinvest your dividends, start small, track your dividends is very important. Focus on dividend growth, and of course, think long term. Now, if you took away one thing from this video, learning before investing is important because it helps you make smart choices and avoid losing money. At the end of the day, building a long-term dividend portfolio that's going to pay for your bills maybe in the future is an amazing strategy, but again, there is a right way and a wrong way to do it. If you don't know what you're doing, you might end up making bad decisions that can cost you and even completely ruin your portfolio in some instances. By learning first, you'll understand how to pick good investments and how to protect your money in the long run. Now, for those of you guys that are ready to get started dividend investing the correct way, like I said, I created a 30-page dividend investing ebook that more or less goes over everything you need to know when it comes to building a long-term portfolio. I also include in this ebook all my personal strategies and how I personally built a 7-figure portfolio in the matter of under a decade. Now, along with the dividend ebook, you're also going to receive a copy of my custom dividend tracker for you to use on your own to track your own dividend stocks and ETFs and see exactly how much you're earning on a monthly and yearly basis. Now, by no means do you need to get my dividend investing ebook to become a successful dividend investor, but this will 100% bridge a gap and get you closer to where you want to be a lot faster. Not to mention, if you grab my A to Z dividend investing ebook, I'm also going to include access to my personal 7-figure dividend portfolio where you can see all my buys and all my sells consistently, and my personal email to ask me absolutely any questions you guys have, no matter what it is pertaining to investing. Now, all that to say that I hope you guys took some value from this, and I hope that all of you guys build a portfolio that prints money consistently just like I have over the last decade or so.